Today we're diving into a super quick history of Sweden. I remember I did react in the past to the Great Northern War, but I only did the first episode, so I was thinking of bringing back that series. It was a long time ago, so I probably will react to the video that I've already reacted to, not to my reaction, just to the original video, of course, because I don't really like to see my older reactions. And yeah, we're gonna learn a little bit more about Sweden today. Without any further ado, let's check it out. Mr. History.
This is Europe.
Wait, is that his name? Oh, Mr. History. Okay, I like his name. Oh, go and check out his channel. Go and subscribe too. He's closer to 100,000. So yeah, Black upcoming.
And here's Sweden. Now let's go, shall we? Amidst the inviting meltings of the Ice Age, human beings trod into the terrain we know as Sweden. And a very nice-looking terrain it was, filled with forests and lakes and... Over time, the peoples of the Swedish lands, like those of Denmark and Norway, began speaking Germanic languages, which they still do. And while the Romans never made it to Sweden, they knew about the Swedes, and the historian Tacitus mentions them in his book Germania. Neighboring tribes included the Geats and Goots and Goats, well, not the goats, who ended up fusing with the Swedes to form a single kingdom, though when and how this occurred is unknown. They also made cool stuff, like this helmet with eyebrows.
Wait, I think when there was the barbaric invasions, I hope he's gonna talk about it. But the ones that conquered Italy, the Lombards, I think they did came from the land that is now known as Sweden. I might be wrong, but I think they come from that area.
Skipping on to the 8th century, the Viking Age arose, when the Northmen embarked on long, epic voyages of looting, massacre, conquest, and exploration. But while the Danes and Norwegians focused on westward seaborne journeys, the Swedes mostly followed waterways overland into Eastern Europe. Even so, Swedish warriors took part in the western raids too. Now, the Swedes proved such impressive fighters that the Byzantine emperors recruited them as elite military units and their own personal bodyguards, known as the Varangian Guard. There were also a group of Swedes from Roslagen, called the Rus, who came to rule over the East.
That sounded very authentic. Roslagen. Oh, I love that.
Slavs, and founded the powerful state of Kievan Rus, from which Russia derives its name. That's right, Russia is named after a bunch of Swedes. Meanwhile, back home, Eric the Victorious got his name.
Now get pissed of the... what was it called? The Tingling song. Come on.
After winning this battle, his son, Olaf Konung, teamed up with Denmark to attack the Norwegians and partition Norway among themselves. Olaf was the first Swedish king to accept Christianity, a faith that spread further during the long reign of his son. Swedes also began colonizing portions of neighboring Finland. This map of Scandinavia in the 12 and 1300s shows how things were looking back then. Around 1250, the future capital Stockholm was founded by an angry-faced nobleman. Hey, you'd be upset too with a hairstyle like that. Anyway, under Magnus IV, Sweden and Norway entered into a union that lasted for much of his reign, in which time the Black Death entered and devastated Sweden, wiping out an enormous percentage of the population. Magnus was overthrown by Albert here, who himself ended up toppled and was followed by Margaret I of Denmark. Margaret instituted the Kalmar Union in 1397, in which Denmark, Sweden and Norway were joined together under a single monarch. The union, designed to challenge the might of the German economic powerhouse known as the Hanseatic League, was not very popular among the people of Sweden, and there was a rebellion in the 1430s. It failed, but the union was doomed. There was just too much resentment against Danish supremacy. The Danes responded rather unwisely to this by executing many anti-union Swedes. The son of one of the murdered men, Gustav Vasa, led a rebellion against Denmark in which the Swedes were victorious, and Gustav Vasa became the king of Sweden. He was a reformer who embraced the Protestant Reformation, for much the same reason as Henry VIII did in England, to not have to answer to the Pope in Rome. His successor was an expansionist, and not just...
Bro, look at that beard! That is just perfect! What the hell?
where facial hair was concerned. Eager to extend Sweden's domains, he joined the Poles in the Livonian War against Russia and managed to acquire a bit of land. And then he went insane and was replaced by his half-brother with his even grander beard. In this time, Denmark attempted to force Sweden back into union with it, and Sweden was like, yeah, nah. And many died and they didn't join, and everyone was worse off for the conflict. And speaking of conflict, there was plenty of that, which is a matter of course for
Actually, about the 7 Years' War, I remember there was some talks about San Marino, joining against during that war, something like that. I mean, it's fake news, of course. I mean, I guess it's fake news. I don't know. And they said that technically Sweden is still at war with San Marino because there was no peace treaty signed with them. I mean, wait, let me actually bring that up. Sorry about this. Wait, okay. What was about San Marino being at war with Sweden? Wait, okay, ChatGPT is gonna... Is a historical misunderstanding or misrepresentation? But it was really popular back then. I remember there was many people saying, when I was like maybe 14 or 15, many people say, oh, that San Marino is at war with Sweden. Something like that. 1789. Oh yeah, Gustav III. Okay. Possibly to test the bloody system of San Marino simply for entertainment. What the hell? There was no real war. Yeah, it's fun to learn about this kind of stuff, even if they are just fake news, right? Okay, let's get back to the actual.
For anyone seeking to start an empire, which is what Sweden did. The man who launched Sweden into imperial spheres was Gustavus Adolphus, a highly capable commander whose militaristic innovations have led some to label him the first modern general. He championed the Protestant cause in the 30 Years' War and won a resounding victory at the Battle of Breitenfeld. In a battle the following year, however, which the Swedes ended up winning, Gustavus was shot dead. He was succeeded by his daughter Christina, who was as fond of books and knowledge as she was of hunting and wearing men's clothes. Having no desire to marry, she abdicated and was followed by her cousin Charles X, who led Sweden to victory against both Russia and Denmark in the Second Northern War, during which the Swedes rampaged through Poland and caused immense destruction in a campaign called the Deluge. Charles XI inherited the Swedish Empire at its height, and after yet another war, oversaw a time of peace. Sweden's enemies, including Russia, arose to attack it in the Great Northern War. Sweden was led by Charles XII, an extraordinary leader, who in the Battle of Narva in 1700 led his men to victory over a Russian force 3 times the size of his own. But then, some years later, he made a mistake Napoleon and Hitler would also make. He invaded Russia. Bad idea, catastrophe, thousands dead, Russia rises, Sweden declines. Empire over. Parliament thereafter did most of the governing until the monarchy's final absolutist roar arrived with Gustav III, who invested himself with immense powers and reigned as an enlightened despot until he was assassinated in 1792 at a masked ball. Meanwhile, Sweden had experienced a flourishing of science and culture. This rendition of the periodic table shows how many elements were discovered.
What the hell? That is so cool. Never seen anything like that. Wait, is there something... Oh. My country... Oh, yes. Technetium. Okay. Yes. We are very known, especially Gigi D'Agostino discovered this element. Okay, stop. I'm being too stupid. Let's continue.
By Swedish scientists. 18, tied with Germany and second only to Britain. But Sweden had developed an unhealthy obsession with fighting Russia, and there was more war and Sweden lost Finland to Russia. Then a French guy became king of Sweden, and Norway too, after Sweden took over.
Why did you lose us? Why? Why Sweden? Why?
Norway via a short war that would prove to be the last Sweden would ever fight, thereafter preferring neutrality. Meanwhile, as the 19th century stomped on, Sweden's population grew, and many emigrated to America, and industrialization slowly stamped its mark upon the nation. Norway broke away peacefully in 1905, and Sweden developed its renowned social welfare system, and remained neutral during both World Wars and the Cold War. In 1995, Sweden joined the EU. A big bridge was built linking Sweden to Denmark, and the number of non-Swedes began to balloon with a...
I mean, it makes total sense, that you said that, because in other videos I asked, should I make some reaction videos to Norway as well, since I don't want to create a new channel, and you guys speak a very similar language, and you told me, yeah, sure, we love Norwegia, we can understand their dialect and all that. It all makes sense checking out history, Since they were together and they just gained independence from Sweden in 1905, makes sense that the language is very similar, right?
a large spike occurring during the 2015 migrant crisis. Following the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, Sweden did something it avoided for many years, applied for membership in NATO. Anyway, today Sweden is one of the richest nations in the world, with a very high level of human development and high quality of life, and has also managed to produce excellence and noteworthiness in multiple fields, ranging from cinema and science to music and literature. So that's it for Sweden, and that's all from me for now. Bye-bye!
That was a great video. That was a really great video. I love this super quick history of Sweden. But I want to go more into detail. Definitely. I want to check out some cooler stuff, you know, like the Great Northern War and more. Definitely more. Let's leave it at more. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Go and check out also Mr. History, and yeah, just support him. I mean, this video was unbelievably good. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. See you soon.